there will be riots, there will be fire, and there will be bloodshed. I am not threatening anyone. I am just saying that as a natural response to aggressive oppression, people will react.
Black Lives Matter of Greater New York co-founder Hawk Newsome last month after meeting with New York City Mayor-elect Eric Adams about his plan to crack down on crime by returning the plainclothes officer unit to New York City streets. It was disbanded in the summer of 2020. So Adams is a retired NYPD captain, and he reportedly fired back with this quote: "We are not going to surrender to those who are saying, quote, we're going to burn down New York. Not my city," he said. Pete Hegseth is standing by with his response. But first, let me bring in Hawk Newsome to respond to that. Hawk, thank you very much for being here. When you listen to the words of Eric Adams, and I know we covered the meeting that you had with him not that long ago, what goes through your mind? What's your response to him on that?
Well, the mayor is engaging in a political circus. And my parents didn't raise a clown, so I'm not here to play these circus-type political games with him. I'll say this. The mayor took a trip to Africa, which wasn't covered by the press. His appointees wasn't covered by the press, so he threw my name out there so he can get in the media. Look at what happened after we engaged in this back and forth. He was on Colbert, he was on Anderson Cooper, he was on Bill Maher. I made him famous, right, for this spat we had. And if the mayor truly cared about what's best for the city, he would have talked about the things we agreed upon in that meeting. But he didn't want to discuss that, Martha.
Well,
he just wants this hype and this attention.
He says he wants to bring this unit back. Listen to what he said. He said, I was elected, and this is what I ran on, and I'm going to follow through on that because that's what the people of New York City have asked me to do. Watch this.
I said I was going to reinstitute an anti-gun unit in plain clothes. Voters voted on that. They're going to have their body cameras on every interaction. We're going to use precision policing to identify the gang members. We removed the precinct-level plainclothes unit. That was a bad decision.
So since that unit was disbanded, we've seen homicides almost double in New York City. So he's saying, I want a safe city. And a lot of New Yorkers respond to that really positively. They want a safe city. They want to be able to go out in the streets. They don't want people breaking the windows and stealing stuff. They want to see children be safe on the streets. What is wrong with anything that he just said there?
Well, here's the problem. The man does not have a plan. He's about to be the
Yes, he does have a plan. He's going to put the anti-crime police unit back on the street.
Wait. Can you listen? Can you listen? Are you going to yell at me? Or are you going to let me make my point? You just talked.
Don't do that.
Right?
Okay, don't do that.
This again.
All right? Because I can interject and I can say, okay, you say he doesn't have a plan.
Let me make a statement.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I just let you go on about Africa and Anderson Cooper, who no one cares about.
The things that he's saying, the things that he's saying, precision policing, focusing on gangs, these are all things that de Blasio said. Crime isn't just up in New York City, it's up around the country. So what is he going to do that's different other than talk? He's had more time.
I'm telling you, he wants to put that unit back on the street. I spoke with a New York City detective. No, it's my turn now. I spoke with a New York City detective who said to me, back in June of 2020. Let's take turns here, okay? I let you answer. Okay. Let me ask you a new question, and then I'm going to let you respond, okay? I spoke with a New York City detective when that unit was disbanded. He said, you mark my words. There are going to be kids dying. This is going to be really bad. Let me put up on the screen. 21 children have been killed in the streets of New York, mostly in gang violence. The purpose of this unit that he wants to put back on the street, this is his plan, you asked what his plan was to clean up illegal guns, violence, and hard drugs on the street. So I'm asking you, what is wrong with putting this unit back on the street if it keeps children of New York City and adults safer?
Okay, there's this thing called the Constitution, and the Fourth Amendment protects us against illegal search and seizure.
Right.
Secondly, this unit has been responsible for the most high-profile deaths in the city. He isn't saying what he's going to do differently. For your journalistic integrity, just ask the right questions. What is his actual plan. He's just talking and drumming up news stories so that we can get this back and forth going again between two black men instead of talking about the things we agreed upon, which was feeding people good food, right? You want to talk about us being in these streets? We have a school where we teach kids how to be safe every single day. Today, I spent the day looking for a lost 11-year-old. I don't get paid by the city to do this. I'm not running for office. This is not a game to me.
Nothing. That is a good thing.
And you know what? Just one last thing, Martha. One last thing, okay? Nobody wants our communities to be violent. But there are other ways to do it. He's not saying what he's doing differently. Duh, the Democrats have been talking about body cams for the last 4 years. People are poor. You just reported that if inflation is up, people don't have money. People are starving.
People need to be safe, Hawk. They need to know that the police are going to have their back. They need to know that when they go out on the street.
People need jobs and opportunities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do what you can to keep the kids safe and let the police officers go out and keep those same kids safe because they're dying at the hands of gangs who are doing.
See, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to be pulled over and thrown up against walls.
No, I don't.
You don't know what it's like to be riding in a car with your friends as a college student.
And I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am. But the fact of the matter is,
you live from a place of white privilege where you don't really understand how they treat us in New York City.
You know what? I want this whole city, people of every background, faith, color, to be safer. And what I see on the street is that is not what is happening since this unit was disbanded. We have seen an increase.
But you see that all over the country. They didn't disband.
Care about that. We're talking about New York. You care about New York. Your Black Lives Matter New York. I'm talking about New York City, one of the greatest cities in the country,
I just came
where
back
people
from LA.
should feel safe.
I do this in Houston. I do this in Atlanta. I help black people all over the country, like a Black Salvation Army.
That's great. Good for you.
In all of these communities. What are you doing? I found a lost kid today. What are you doing to help the greater good?
Do you know what I just said when you said that? I said, God bless you. And I would like that child to be able to grow up safely in this city. And we don't have the kind of support that we need because we have diminished these officers and we have put them in a situation where they can't protect that little 11-year-old that you just saved today. And like I said, good for you for the work that you're doing about poverty. But you have to have both sides.
They can't protect them. Even in cities where the police precincts weren't defunded, crime is up. How do you explain that? Crime is up across the country. Okay, you say they defund the police, and no, it is absolutely true.
Well, there's a number of factors with that, but when you look at the big increases in homicides across this country, what you're seeing is that the places where police have been diminished in their ability to do their job, which is nationwide, you're seeing an increase in...
People are getting robbed on Rodeo Drive.
No kidding.
People are getting robbed on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, you ask what I'm doing. We're covering those stories every day, sir.
People are getting robbed
I got to leave it there because we're out of time. I appreciate the work that you're doing in poverty. I think we can have a safe city, and we can also take care of the poor.
Can I say one last thing?
Quick.
Free Larry Hoover.
Thank you very much for being here. Hawk Newsome. All right, coming up next, The Response with Pete Hegseth.